with the tool, and you can use it yourself, and even beyond the Soksai program, it can be used. No, so definitely. So just let me know when you would want to have it. It would be very good if it's a 3-day workshop. Haha, which one? A design thinking workshop, 3 days. So if we could have more than just this cluster para mas sulit,
Can we suggest the venue?
you have to tell Dean George. Pa-budget ko ba yan? O sige, pag-usapan natin mamaya. But yes, I'd rather that we do it off campus so that you're not distracted. We've had... Consentidor ba? No, because we've had several run here in school. People are distracted. Somebody comes to you, a student, you need to sign something, especially for administrators. So Doc Katz actually attended the one in FINMA in Tagaytay, and yon. Talagang they were locked out and they were really just doing that. And it was a very memorable experience. So we would love to do that with you guys for the whole SMS school. What else? So 3 days, if you could allot 3 days for that one. And then I really like it when you talked about social media. And because a lot of information nowadays is in social media, I don't know, maybe one thing that we could think about in terms of a design challenge would be fake news. How might we something on fake news, no? So yeah, I'm so excited to do this with you. Incubation, even at the GE level, why not? Why not have incubation? It doesn't have to wait for capstone. If they have something at service learning level that is more sustainable, we want to do it long term. Because I think maybe that's the differentiation between service learning and then incubation at Hi-Fi. If you want to really sustain it and do it longer term, it could be incubated at Hi-Fi. So thank you.
I'm thinking about the idea of Catholic social teaching. But then, in my mind, it's always linked with Theophilo because it emanates from the church based on the writings of the former popes. But then, when was that? 2013, perhaps, there was this 9th International Conference on Catholic Social Teaching, and Rox and I participated there. In fact, we presented a poster. I still remember the key ideas there: human dignity, common good, and then I like these ideas. Good. This is about business, Catholic social teaching and business. So good money or good wealth. I forgot the other. Good work. Okay, so that's the whole idea. So for any business to fall in the rubrics of Catholic social teachings, the business, the product must be good. The work that comes with the output should be good, and the money produced should be good. And of course, there are definitions. Now, but because you're social science, you might be stuck with the idea na Catholic social teaching belongs to Theophilo. But in terms of content, like for example, practical economics, as a layperson, I think it's important that our would-be businessmen should be thinking along that line, that my business idea to start with should be good, that the treatment of workers or employees doing the product should be in good condition, and the usage of wealth and the perspective on wealth should also be good. So perhaps a collaboration between Theo, Philo, and social science. I may be wrong in my assumptions po.
We already incorporated that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to give a comment. Actually, I didn't give a comment to the first group, but my comment can apply to all, actually. I'm just happy that the idea of inclusion has moved forward from just in the classroom and just education and strategies into really more of the community, and also talking about interfaith, talking about the community, about families and all of this. And that is really great because inclusion is actually a very big umbrella concept that is founded on the idea of diversity, which I did not touch this morning, but I understand that you get it. I'm very happy for that. And I'd just like to tell you that out of all of your presentations, for example, there are 2 already. I just want you to know that actually we already started, we submitted a module called Valuing Inclusion. That's included in the CSB Life curriculum that's going to start in school year 2018-2019. So that particular course teaches our students about just the general idea of inclusion and general sensitivity etiquette. And that can be the core, or where you can actually use that as prior knowledge as when you go to your different subjects as well. So I'm just very glad that it's not just in the classroom, the idea of inclusion, but you understand that this is about diversity. It's not just about disability, but it's really about so many other things that make us different from each other. And how do we consider that in our class? So thank you very much.
All right. Let's go to the next. Sorry, brother, comments? No. Okay. Tony.
I appreciate yung starting point, yung merong pre-assessment or diagnostics. I guess hindi lang sa dapat sa SOCSI, dapat in all areas so that we know. I still remember many years back yung guidance counseling, they would do a parang orientation in the beginning of the school year so that we have profiling of the kind of students that we have, not only in terms of how many numbers of students we have for this school year, but also the kind of preference, gender, where they do go, how do they spend. This kind of profiling will give us a certain sense of the moment you enter the classroom, you'll know already that, I'm not saying that we are biased because of this profiling, but somehow we are prepared to the kind of intervention or to the kind of strategy that we'll employ. Other than we do it per classroom. Ang isip ko kasi, pag ginawa naman natin per classroom or per section, baka naman magiging redundant. No? Na every time na lang na pumasok sa klase, mayroong ganong assessment. So how can we settle it so that the student, okay. Okay. Very good. Okay, parang, what about CLPA? Can you do that? Okay.
Actually, siguro one of the dream, no, that's very good kasi yung profiling and understanding the profile of your class, right? And I think that's what Big Sky will allow us to do now. And yung sinasabi ni Tony kanina, actually we have tools that we've been using for many years. I'm not part of CLPA, but I know that these tools exist. Yung CSNI, yung College Students Needs Inventory, at saka yung Study Attitudes and Method Survey, which is SAMS. We do that every year, di ba, Rock? So maybe we can consider incorporating those na instead of a manual test, it's on Big Sky. So that Big Sky can actually generate the profiles automatically for us. So let's consider that and put that in. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's hear from the physical education area. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, fellow generalists. Unlike the first presenter, who mentioned that he was surprised that suddenly he became the presenter of the group. In my case, I was unanimously and brutally forced to deliver the output of the group. Now, for the physical education area, this is the product of our imagination. Bunga po ito ng malikot na pag-iisip at likha ng balintataw. This is how we sum up the output of the group. Bakit yung lagi? Ayan. We will present the initiatives and the new initiatives first. Yung amin pong volume of other concern will be delivered later. For initiatives, currently, the introduction of PE programs that are socially relevant. And under the new initiatives, we plan to collaborate with CIE in dealing with students with special needs. Medyo malaki po yung concern namin doon, especially sa aming methodology and approaches sa pag-handle ng mga students with special needs. Next will be the The next initiative is the in-service training. We are concerned about roundtable discussions and regular meetings. And the new initiatives include to invite field experts, practitioners, and speakers in attendance, both local and international seminars. Next, sir. The program activity assessment, yung aming pong regular post-activity report compilation. And as part of our new initiatives is to intensify post-activity reports and assessment. No? It will be used as a guide. Next, sir. They use as a guide and analysis for further improvement. We would like to make collaboration also with the CLPA. Next, sir. Membership of faculty to professional organizations is also our current initiative. And we plan to establish additional linkages for both public and private organizations. Now, here's our other concerns of EPIC proportion. The appropriate trainings and orientation should be given to the faculty members, especially in the areas of those under the inclusive program. The availability of the curriculum and programs that will meet the needs of inclusion. And of course, to establish linkages and partners for collaboration. The availability of the state-of-the-art equipments for PE program. And we are concerned about the continuing professional development program to keep us abreast with the new trends and the collaboration with the SDS and other schools. Nalampasan niyo sa base kay kanina. Yeah. The facilitation and yung pagbalikan lang po natin yung sa initiatives. Facilitation and usage of the vinyl Big Sky. We intend to intensify the use of Big Sky for consultation, the Q&A, submission of requirements, and other concerns. Medyo po kasi kulang pa ng training sa paggamit ng Big Sky kaya hindi namin ma-maximize, no, yung usability nito. That would be also.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, we shall be calling in, before the commence of the panelists, we shall be calling the next area to do their presentation.
Natural Sciences area. Sir Andy.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is a product of the brilliant minds of my colleagues. Okay, the only subject area which is required for the new GE is the Science, Technology, and Society. So we will focus on the required GE course. Sir. So it's already in our course syllabus. So we have identified paradigm shifts in teaching science, technology, and society. So integrating what we have learned this morning, so we'll be into the innovative teaching strategies and an inclusive, innovative, service-oriented, and research-based way of teaching, which is tailored fit to the different degree programs of students. So just like, let's say, for example, we are teaching CDA, so it will be focused more on the different policies of the different countries, which is for science, technology, and society, or for the hotel students. So it will be about the different technologies that they used in the hotel industry. So next is the technology integration. Basically, we have been using this technology integration and use of video clips on teaching history of science, technology, and society. But through what we have learned this morning, Filipinos are not really into the documentation of their indigenous knowledge. Let's say, for example, Filipinos don't have documentations on the history about roofing, but we have different, there is a history behind the different roofs used by the Filipinos and the extant cultural heritage of ethno-linguistic groups. And it has something to do with science. Let's say, for example, describing about time. Because in physics, we don't believe that there's such thing as Filipino time and we're always late. But in the ethno-linguistic sense, Filipino time is always on time. Because let's say, for example, they will meet dapit hapon, but they will meet dapit hapon. But in physics, we just describe that as a relative time. So other concerns is accessibility of data, especially that we have moratorium from CHED, policies on concerns about community immersion and field visits. Next is we have been using about PBL, or the problem-based learning on information technology and artificial intelligence. So we will be gearing towards prototyping the future IT and artificial intelligence through recycling and use of available resource materials. So we will be making prototypes, but we will just be using the different materials available. So the only problem is the budget for the materials. But we are thinking about really doing recycling. Next is the different case analysis on the different types, with the different types of learners we have, including those which are differently able. So on the topic of biotechnology, and this is one of our concerns because we will be teaching GMOs, or the genetically modified organisms. How will we be able to teach GMOs with the blind, or for the deaf, or for the mute, or let's say, for example, those who are physically handicapped? So we will be making a menu-based learning activities with a single and common output for the GMOs. So we have our expert, Sir Kuju, who will teach us with these menu-based learning activities. The only concern that we have is that the availability of materials for simulation. So let's say, for example, our problem is on fingerprinting. There's already an available kit for fingerprinting, but it's not yet available in Benilde, and we don't have it yet. Next is we are using journal assessment and reflective analysis on the role of science technology in national development. Now, addressing to or responding to the new integrated basic research agenda by 2040, which is the program of the President of the Philippines about malasakit, makatao. So we will be addressing this. So we'll have an isomorphic. When you say isomorphic, there's only one activity, but there's only one objective, but there are different activities with one common output. So a noun routine, differentiated classroom instructions to address water security, food security, and health sufficiency concerns. As I've said, supporting to the NIBRA. And also, in our current RGEC syllabi, we examined shared concerns that make up the good life in order to come up with innovative, creative solutions to contemporary issues guided by ethical standards. So our new initiatives is that if we will be given enough space, we'll have vertical or urban herbal gardening for potential pharmaceutical products. Because according to research, the Philippines has many endemic plants, potential for pharmaceutical products, but we are not geared towards it. Or we have problems about plastics, but there is a program for plastic solutions and we're not using that. So we were using plastic solutions for architectural designs and manufacturing that can be used for the different marginalized sectors, even in NCR. So the only concern that we have is the storage area for the different outputs. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before we continue with the panelists' comments and suggestions, we'll proceed with our next presenter from the math area, Sir Reynard Nugid. May we just request the presenters to limit the time to 10 minutes. Thank you. Sorry sa'yo umabot yung 10.
9 minutes lang. All I need. Oh. I'll begin right away. So for Math in the Modern World, which is the subject under the math area, I'll start with the initiatives incorporated in the RGEC syllabi. So these are the things we've been doing already. So we have test modifications. This came to light when we had students enrolled who are blind, and some equations wherein they have to use a certain program, we have to change some of our inputs, wherein equations have to be entered differently. So we are willing to, of course, change our exams in that light. Extra consultation hours, aside from our time inside the classroom with the students. This is general practice of the school anyway for SMS, and it's one of the things that we make sure that our faculty is able to do. Activities that require collaboration. This is in regards with student projects, student activities. So we try to encourage them to work with one another, with each other, as opposed to just having individual projects. As an area, we already try to apply Big Sky as materials for students where they can get certain lectures, certain resources from the teacher, updates for students, announcements such as when the exam will be coming up. So those little things. Big Sky actually is quite helpful for that. Faculty development also. We had a seminar last year, June 2016, on Flipped Classroom. I'm sure everyone here is familiar of that. It is something that the area is trying to incorporate in our future lectures. Big Sky training as well. We attended some of the per area training, the Sensei seminar last April regarding the types of students that we'll eventually have. In STAT, we have socially relevant projects. Statistics is the best venue for this. As everyone might already know, the nature of the subject itself, dealing with reality, dealing with current issues, dealing with relevant issues in our, not just the world itself, but something closer in society. Our new initiatives that we figured are the following. We have Flipped Classroom, since we already have a seminar on that. This is something that we will try to make into a reality. Of course, this is not something that we will do for all of our lectures, so only whenever applicable, of course. Bigger role of Big Sky, as we've been hearing all throughout the session, that Big Sky is turning into one of those relevant resources that we are given. So great recording. Eventually, perhaps we will be using the tool under Big Sky, interaction through Big Sky. There are discussion forums there. As of now, we've been ignoring, but perhaps we might look into it and see how receptive the students will be. Appreciating mathematics through God's creation. We have one topic under Math in the Modern World, wherein mathematics is discussed through nature and in terms of patterns. Well, we all know that students, hopefully, when they get the appreciation of those things, and then they know that these are not things that are man-made. These are not things that just where in certain individuals or groups design, but still create existing in nature. So we have subjects like that in Math in the Modern World. Here we have math plus moral sense equal to wise decision making. In one of the subjects we have decision making, the subjects are voting, social choices. Under social choices, we have the death penalty issue, and I think everyone remembers a letter from Brother Jose Maria Jimenez, FSC, to the Lasallian community regarding the issue. So what we're saying is math can be a tool to provide empirical evidence that death penalty does not deter crime. Students will create position papers to be sent to senators, representatives. So something as big as that, hopefully we'll be able to achieve. So on odds and chances, this is referring to what types of consequences our actions will have. So even that, mathematics plays a role. I think okay. No, could you scroll down there? We also have a planned community-related project under consumer math. Now, of course, a lot of things we need to iron out on this one, but what we were thinking is to create awareness on stocks and bonds to the community. Sadly, these are topics that not everyone knows about. And they hear about it, but what exactly it is, they don't know. And what I'm referring to is to our other members of the community, like jeepney drivers, those who have small businesses, street food. They have no idea that these things exist. And perhaps this is something that they can experiment on, that they can see. And with the help of the students, we can try to make this into a project wherein the students will be, and hopefully Hi-Fi will be helpful for us in that regard. Well, under other concerns, the only point we have there is activities outside the classroom. It's difficult to create activity outside the classroom if there are certain issues that needs to be answered, not just by the school, but by the area also. Certain things that we have to take note of. Even Ched, I think, has a say on this one, that we have to make sure that we understand also. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Reynard. That's a good 10-minute presentation. 9 minutes. Hindi, 10 minutes. From the Filipino area, may we call on our representative, Sir Rafi. Sir Rafi, 10 minutes, please. 5 minutes.
Magandang hapon. Habang hinahanap yung aming PowerPoint, ang aming pinakamalakas na punto, hanapin. Ayan. Bigyan ko lang kayo ng kaunting kaligiran tungkol sa kung bakit mananatili ang Filipino sa kolehiyo. Sa mga nagdududa kung karapat-dapat kami sa kolehiyo, narito ang aming patunay. At handang ipaglaban. Mabuhay. Yan. Basahin ko lang kaunting kaligiran. Patuloy na ituturo ang asignaturang Filipino at panitikan sa kolehiyo matapos maglabas ang Korte Suprema ng Temporary Restraining Order. Ayan, laban sa Commission on Higher Education. Memorandum Order CMO number 20, Series 2013 noong 22 ng Abril. Wala pa dyan sa PowerPoint. Ilan sa mga probisyong ito ang Republic Act 7104 o Commission on the Filipino Language Act, Republic Act 232, o Education Act of 1982, at Republic Act 7356, Law Creating the National Commission for Culture and Arts, na naglalayong gawing makabayan ang general education na curriculum. Malinaw. Ayan. Ito po yung aming nabuo. Bagamat tatlo lang kami, Hindi namin ginawang tiyak yung bawat paksa na tatalakayin sa aming silabay, sa tatlong syllabus, at aming nabuo rin para sa mga nangangailangan na estudyanteng hindi mahusay, marunong pa sa lengguwaheng Filipino. May tatlo para sa regular na klase. Ito yung Philip 11 namin. Pinalitan namin ngayon ng Compag, komunikasyon sa mabisa at masining na pagbabahayag. At yung katumbas niya sa mga dayuhang mag-aaral, kay Philda 1, o Filipino para sa mga dayuhan. Kasi maraming mga mag-aaral sa atin na hindi unang wika nila ang Pinoy. Ayan, ang aming naging focus dun sa initiatives incorporated in the RGEC syllabi. Ayan, performance-based o tuon sa pangangailangan sa mag-aaral o karaniwan sa atin yung learner-centered. Okay, yung initiative namin, okay, ang focus namin yung pagtugon sa holistikong pangkaisipan, pandamdamin, pangkasanayan sa pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. Sunod. Sa pangalawang Pilipinong kukuha, yung Philip 12 o yung Salifil, binigyan namin to ng pamagat na pagsasalin sa iba't ibang larang. Ibig sabihin, sa iba't ibang disiplina, papasok ang Filipino, kahit sabihin natin na nandun siya sa building na SDA, sa TAF, sa SHRIM, at yung bagong tutubong gusali, katabi ng SHRIM. Ayan. Paano ba nabuo ang CSB? Eddie Binild. Okay, sunod. Ay, kulang yan. Isa pa. Ayan, ayan. Yung naging focus namin dun sa nauna, okay, gayong may katumbas din siya sa Philda 2, pagbasa sa iba't ibang anyo ng pakikipagtalastasan. Malilinang sa interkultural na komunikasyon, kakayahan sa iba't ibang akademikong larang. At pagpapaunlad ng mapanuri at malikhang pag-iisip. Ngayon dun sa initiatives generated ngayon, ito yung pag-ielaborasyon ng Filipino. Okay, ang tuto nila, okay, na mas malawak kung ano nga ba yung Filipino, hindi lang basta dun sa mismong bilang lingwahe siya. Sa aspektong interlingual, okay, kasi maaring sabihin natin na bawat wika ay maaring magkaugnay, kahit sabihin natin na kung minsan hindi nagkakaintindihan, at least may patutunguhan pa rin yung kanilang pag-uusap. At yung panghuli, pagpapahalaga sa konseptong may kinalaman sa kulturang lokal at global. Dahil hindi lang naman sa ngayon ng Filipino, sa Pilipinas pinag-aaralan, sa ibang bansa na rin ay nakikilala ang wikang Filipino. At yung panghuling syllabus, at hindi ko papaabutin to ng 10 minuto dahil may magagalit. Ang Philip 13 o yung cool pop, yung parang K-pop. Ayan, iba't ibang anyo ng kulturang kulturang popular. Okay, mapag-aaralan ng mga mag-aaral. At yung katumbas niya sa mga pangdayuhang mag-aaral ay yung mga panimulang pag-aaral sa pagsasalin mula sa unang wika tungo sa pangalawang wika. Ang naipasok namin yung lunan na masaklaw na pananaliksik, hinggil sa kultura, kasaysayan, wika at kaisipang Filipino. Ayan, dun sa initiative na nabuo namin, kumakatha ng nagtatalabang karanasan, identidad, kasarian, uri, lahi, etnisidad, paniniwala, maging pagpapakahulugan sa kasaysayan, teknolohiya at lipunan. Maraming pong salamat.
Salamat, Sir Rafi. Nakahahawa ang iyong paggamit ng wikang Filipino. Ngunit, kailangan kong gumamit ng panibagong wika sapagkat ang susunod na magpapakita ng galing ay ang aking area, the English area. Thank you, Sir Lance.
Thank you, Dr. Jawid. Good afternoon. On behalf of the English area, I would like to present our output. First and foremost, what we did was to align the only subject that will be offered during the 2018-2019 school year, which is purposive communication. And we did a little tweaking and change on the format of the given output. What we did was we tried to eliminate the second column because we believe that the initiatives given, which were the BENX, inclusion, innovation, and technology, are well crafted. Okay, thus what we did was to align the curriculum with that of the initiatives. upon the discussion of the group, what we were able to find out was that almost all of the initiatives were really aligned with the curriculum of purposive communication, except for some that are not explicitly written in the curriculum. Thus, we place them under other concerns. My discussion will focus on the other concerns to target also the initiatives and then the topics and the activities of the area. First is under service learning. That's the first concern. We were not able to put a concrete activity under service learning because we believe that it is important for the community, especially for the office in charge, to give first a concrete description or definition of what service learning is. And just like what was mentioned a while ago, not all subject areas or not all subjects will be required to undergo a service learning activity. So we would like to find out first whether the English area will be required before putting a service learning activity that will be aligned with purposive communication. Apart from that, we would also like to find out whether CHED would come up with their own definition and would, how do I say it, would take out the moratorium regarding students going out of the campus and experiencing learning outside the campus. Second is on the concept of value-centered and humaneness. As we look at the curriculum, we were able to find out that instead of using the term God-centered, it is best to come up with the term humaneness and value-centered. But if you will look at it, humaneness and value-centered is still under the big umbrella of God-centered. Thus, we're still targeting one of the initiatives which is God-centered under the Benildian expressions. Next is on the concern regarding class size and classroom setup. We find this very important because in order for us to be able to become inclusive or for us to be able to tailor fit our activities to our students, especially those students who are with special needs, then it is very important to come up hopefully with a smaller class size. Because based on our discussion, the full-time faculty members were able to discuss that upon their visit to Taiwan, students are given bigger space to work with. Okay, with that, they are given a better opportunity to learn inside the classroom. And if we could do that in our classes as well, I think it will be the area believe that it will be better and there will be a better learning experience for our students. In addition to which, hopefully the class will also be equipped with a complete audio and video setup. Given that we already have our television and our computer, hopefully we could also have our audio system inside the classroom. Okay, this will also help to better facilitate learning inside the classroom. And then another concern would be under technology, the initiative technology on hardware and software. We tried to look at the need for a computer, for example, for some of our students inside the classroom. And to tailor this particular need, some of our students are really financially disadvantaged in terms or challenged in terms of buying or purchasing such device. So maybe we could think of a way for us to be able to address this issue. And likewise, in terms of the software, I think everybody's have experienced that the internet connection of the school always has an intermittent problem and disposition. Therefore, I think we need to address that for us to strengthen also our initiative under technology. Okay, so the area was able to discuss such. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Lance. And our last set of presenters will be coming from the School of Design and Arts. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. I was actually trying to think if I would be saying this one, but I think it's very relevant. I would just like to lift what my favorite diva said long time ago in the Madison Square Park concert, Miss Barbara Streisand. She said that we're all equal, but definitely not the same. Thus, I'm operating in which the ASEAN integration and the Washington Mutual Agreement are actually stepping on. And that is the philosophy of education on multiculturalism. It has been like, I've been hearing about interculturalism, transculturalism, cross-culturalism. But the best term I could actually use, because I'm working on a thesis on that, is multiculturalism. But let me be specific. That will be multicultural art education. Now, first, our initiative, which is actually operating right now, is the study of different types of art media or materials, techniques or methodologies which are involved in the creation of various forms of arts, in placing this into context with family, politics, religion, sexuality, social protest, entertainment, which will enable you to gain an insight into significance of creativity in its many physical manifestations. Now, according to Catherine, wherein she wrote the key dimensions of multicultural art education, equity pedagogy, and content integration, I think all of these are actually also intertwined with the other disciplines, like the agents of socialization. Now, the new initiatives actually were actually of the same plane with the English area. It's just that we have to be explicitly, visible, try to make it visible there, just for the sake of compliance. One is learner-centered teaching. So I think SDA Design Foundation Department badly needs like pre-service and in-service on enhancement of cultural competencies of teachers when it comes to teaching art appreciation subject. By the way, art appreciation subject, we actually get the curriculum from the collaboration of CHED and the University of the Philippines Department of Art Studies. And also we try to look into the Department of Education Arts K-12 guide. Now, number two, maintaining the integrity of each discipline aligned with established holistic learning to other programs like SHRIM, SMS, SDG, SMITH, and SDS. Currently, I just sat down together with my chairperson, Sir Tim Dakanay, with SHRIM. We're actually cooking a project which is called as Food Art Exhibit. So it's a collaboration of minds from Culinary Art Program and Design Foundation. Then third, providing a balance among the disciplines being studied, incorporates multiple intelligences, learning modalities, and develops high-order thinking skills. So we don't want to produce like factories of creators, but we also would like to produce factory of critical thinkers. Number four, encourages formative and summative assessment and set clear expectations for student work. And then involves community resources in and out of school. So that is service learning. So number six, encourage multiple solutions to problems. The other concerns, the curriculum design brings together related disciplines in a formal unit structured around a common theme. We would like to meet other heads from different programs. We don't like art appreciation just be like, we have this jargon in art, thus you are out of our discipline. And for you not to understand, we would like to extend arms lovingly to other programs so that the students from other programs would appreciate our subject and apply to their programs. Now, number two, analyze the art of Philippines in order to apply features through celebrating Filipino cultural identity and diversity. And then new initiatives at the general level, they represent significant aspects of life, such as identity or social codes of conduct, and they reflect complexities of our cultures. So we are being multicultural, intercultural, transcultural, whatever cultural theoretical framework that is. Then other concerns, instruction deliberately planned to bring together the full range of disciplines in the school's curriculum. Curriculum designers meet, plan, modify, monitor, evaluate instruction related to common theme with other programs. By the way, I am the Filipino representative to the International Society for Art Education. So I'm trying to put in whatever UNESCO 2010 and 2015 and the current one and the coming one that will be held in South Korea to the Design Foundation program. Let me breathe, wait. Masyadong machika. Number three, develop critical perception in the arts in order to appreciate various meanings and effects by exposures to art galleries, museum, plays, artist talks, lectures, seminars, and other artistic activities and writing critique papers. The new initiative, students are required to have active learning process in the community and to apply different concepts into reality. Again, service learning. By the way, art appreciation subject is following an art methodology known as discipline-based art education. And then that's with the National Association of Art Educators. Then teachers collaborate and sequence lessons to the topics related to disciplines are taught cohesively. We would like also to work with High Five, whatever case studies and feasibility studies in incubation. We'll put the 4 to Miss Abby. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jerome. Sir Jerome Tan is from the School of Design and Arts.
All right. Thank you, sir.
We would like to listen to the comments and suggestions of our panelists. We'll start with Brother Mike.
Okay, I think a very interesting collaboration would be with theology and the arts because of theological aesthetics. And I think that's one big contribution we can make, because what has happened with secularization is the separation of theology and the arts. And yet we find it persisting in religious music. But how about the visual arts, film? So a whole approach, true, good, beautiful. Ethics is the good, doctrine is the true. We need to address the beautiful. So I think this is a fruitful place for collaboration. Yeah.
I believe everybody has done presenting. So I just gathered all of my responses and comments. The first one is, I am actually very excited for the PE area. We are so excited to work with you because based on what you shared today, I can see that what we will fruit if we work together could be an inclusive PE program that could become a benchmark for other schools. And right now, actually, other schools are looking at CSB, looking to us for our practices because sa totoo lang, sa pakiramdam natin na hindi tayo handa, pag nasa labas po, ang tingin nila sa atin, tayo na raw yung pinakahanda. So I feel that I'm so excited to hear about the PE program. I'd love to work with you and maybe we can come up with a manual, of how to do an inclusive PE program, not just for higher education, but in general. And you also mentioned about state-of-the-art equipment. I think based on our discussions and workshops that we might be doing together, we hope to do it together with you as soon as possible, is we are able to come up with a manual where we state what are some of these equipments so that other schools can actually look at that booklet or that manual we will come up with. And ang nakikita ko rin po dito is it's not just a project between us, but maybe it could become a commission project of the school as a faculty research program opportunity. Because what I'm thinking here is maybe a paper can come out of this and maybe in the future you can present it in a conference. So that's one of the things I'm so excited about. So that's one. The second is in terms of training sessions. Of course, we know very, very well that training is so important. But as we wait for the completion of the inclusion faculty module, which is still under development, we can already go to your departments for Kapihan-style trainings and ECHO training. Just invite us. So for example, for the SENSE training, I heard Mr. Nugid mentioned that some of you guys attended the SENSE training. And I'm sure for those who attended, it was a very enriching experience for you. If you want to echo what you learned to your colleagues, just tell CIE and we will sponsor that echo event for you. So as soon as next week, if you want. And then, so that's the second. And the third thing I just want to say is the mention of the word differentiation during the presentations where faculty members are willing to do differentiation in your classes. This is actually a very inclusive practice. Differentiation is something that usually is done for the early years until about secondary school. For higher education, we also look to UDL, which is Universal Design for Learning. So this is going to be a big topic for the inclusion faculty module. But today we gave you this. This is just a start. But this is really more for the higher ed. Differentiation is still very helpful, definitely. Please continue to do that. And finally, number 4 is just as a fruit of our collaborative work with the School of Design and Arts, we'd like to invite you to join the Design Art Autism exhibit. There's going to be an exhibit starting June 15 to July 29 at the 12th floor of the SDA. Please come, and so that you can see how an artist with autism and a student from BNILD can work together for a more sustainable world. So thank you.
I just want to add, because I might miss the opportunity, there are research opportunities that will be, that I think have been discussed already in your respective areas. And like on that particular note, like we can work together with physical education area and develop manuals or materials that would also carry incentives, research deloading. So you could explore that as an opportunity that would also advance inclusion and innovation.
My first comment is for natural science and art appreciation, because we are entering into an agreement with the Natasha Goldborn Foundation. They're dealing with depression and suicide. Their current thinking is anchored on 3 ideas. Number 1, psychology, what goes in the minds. Number 2, the connection between gut and brain. So meaning the food that we eat, the juices that we drink. And the third one is art as a form of therapy and assessment. So perhaps we could continue along that line and consider it in the further development of your modules. This one, the second one is for PE. I think physical education, the ultimate goal is overall wellness. Maging malusog yung mga tao. Kasama din yung mental health. Now, in my readings on brain research, there's this big idea. From emotion, then we remove E to motion. The connection of physical movement to how we feel. You might have encountered the concepts of cortisol and then the dopamine. Kasi dopamine is responsible for good feeling while cortisol for stress. And body movements and even our posture. Meron ako napanood sa TED TED Talk that deals with power posture and how it affects the dopamine level in our bodies. Perhaps you might want to look into that. For math area, I appreciate the social issues and statistics. The current death penalty is anchored on the war on drugs. I've watched this video in YouTube. Please explore the concepts of rat cage, Skinner, versus the concept of rat park. Kasi yung war on drug is based on the 1940s experiment yung Skinner, yung conditioning. Whereas yung more modern way of dealing with drugs, and they experimented it in Europe, and it's giving them positive results. It is based on the newer experiment on rat park. So rat cage versus rat park. Yung Filipino naman po, masaya ako doon sa Filipino sa mga dayuhan. Kung napansin nyo, nawala sa atin yung core Binildian values na Filipino in ideals. And tinatanong yon na bakit tinangga, ganyan-ganyan. Sabihin ko lang po, just like in God-centered, nasabi na English, yung humaneness, yung ano po ito, medyo top-down approach. Meaning to say, these BENXs are part of our institutional documents. So, para po natin mabago yon, dadaan din po yung sa isang institutional process. Hindi lang po dahil ito yung gusto ko, then papalitan natin yung buong document ng institution. Pero po nawala yung Filipino in ideals. Perhaps pwedeng gamitin ng Filipino area, yung Filipino sa mga dayuhan, para magkaroon ng kahit paano yung mga Korean, yung Chinese, na in a way, sense of Filipino in ideas. Not only in language, but even in their appreciation of our culture. What else? Yun lang po. Yung sa English, I think yung humaneness, you may use it in the English area as part of your process of ownership of the BENX. But as I said earlier, we cannot change the institutional expression, which is God-centered. Kasi po, dumaan po to sa isang mahabang proseso. Salamat po.
All right. I think Sir has a comment. Sir Jerome.
Hi, Sir Neil. Actually, thank you for bringing that up. Art as a therapy. Actually, it's part of the creative conference that we are actually planning, but it's actually part in the pre-final syllabus of art appreciation, wherein we try to talk about the linkage of art and society. We could also do that as a community service learning, wherein we go to like depressed areas and try to use art as a therapy for those who are like depressed. But I am not really sure if we're gonna go to Marawi as of now. It's too dangerous. But probably somewhere else wherein we could use art as like touching the affective domain. Okay. And then we try to neutralize the negative feelings of those people who are depressed or experiencing negative vibes.
Can I add to Sir Jerome, also since we're on the topic of art appreciation, I would just like to, in a similar thread as what Sir Neil said, maybe art as an agency for change. We talk about art heavily used in urban renewal, especially in depressed countries and communities, because government does not have much participation, but countries, cities like Bogota are able to do it because of art and design. So maybe somewhere in that area as a recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, it's also part of our... Yan, binubuking ko na. Buti wala si Doc Sunita. I actually sat down with the BACC cluster meeting because Sir Tim wasn't around, so I was the OIC then. Actually, we're touching art is like for national development, cultural capital, and then as what do you call this one? Diplomacy. So it's also in the thread of thought of the international community for art educators. We will go into that as well. It's actually part of the pre-final portion of the art appreciation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. That's very good to know. For math, I wanna because math you're having statistics as well, no? So statistics got sexier now. They call it data, right? And with the advent of data science and data analytics, I think it would be very interesting for the students so they fall in love with numbers again and the importance of data. How do you use data now for storytelling? Because it does tell a story, very good story. So maybe if we could, maybe a collaboration with design on this one, or just invite us, we could share on creative data. We call it creative data. And then for Natsai, you were talking about prototyping. In the design thinking workshops, it actually end in prototyping, testing, and getting feedback through a pitch. So we could also help you that if you're okay with joining the SOCSI team for a design thinking workshop, we could provide that as well. I'm also very happy to know that you are actually including indigenous technology. There is this concept of designing for extreme affordability or extreme poverty, and most of the time it's really indigenous technology that we can use. So thank you very much for including that. That's about it for me.
Maybe just a comment to the SOCSI also. I'm just wondering, and in the part about understanding the self, what is the content?
We have the physical self, the spiritual self,
okay,
the digital self.
Okay. I'm wondering because I'm wondering where in our courses we can address issues of emotional wellness and basic self-management. Okay, so that's something that's going to be taken up. Okay, thank you.
I actually want to add on that. I think it's very important. Honestly, as admissions director before, I served as admissions director for 11 years. And this is one of the things that's alarming me right now. There are actually more and more students coming in with a history of psychological emotional need. Okay, and this is not just for Benil, this is all over. And if we talk to psychologists and psychiatrists now, they will tell us that it is an epidemic, what's happening. Mental health issues are becoming more and more prevalent. Last year, the WHO actually reported that that is the second most important story from 2016. The first one was the ineffectivity of antibiotics. That was the first one. The second one was the rise in the number of people diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And this is all over the world, not just the Philippines. So I was thinking also for understanding the self, if we can just add a little bit, maybe some content on resilience training and how to address how to be more resilient, or maybe how to address if they're feeling things like this, so that we avoid untoward incidents in our school. So thank you.
Perhaps also, will it also tackle developmental issues? Okay.
So thank you, yung resilience po. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the presentation of outputs. Thank you everyone for your efforts, for sharing your brilliant and well-conceived ideas.
The ideas and suggestions are all very promising. I'm sure that most, if not all of them, will make it to the revised general education curriculum, which would surely benefit our primary stakeholders, our dear students.
That's right. This is all for the love of the Lasallian mission, revitalizing our commitment to provide a better, more inclusive, and more innovative learning experience for our students.
Thank you, fellow educators, for working very, very hard today. Please give yourselves a warm round of applause.
It's been a long day. To formally close this first ever GE Congress, may I call on our Dean of the School of Multidisciplinary Studies, to deliver his remarks.
Dean George Pinay.
I think it's really important for us to have ownership to the work that we do and the association that we have. Because ultimately, for us to reestablish ourselves at the core, we need to have that togetherness. Together and by association. That's the only way for us to intensify our efforts. And this is a perfect example of an activity of that collaboration really works. It's a meaningful collaboration, and I'm really grateful that, of course, they're also my friends, but then the heads of CIE, Hi-Fi, of course, Vice President Neil, Marisa, the brothers are very supportive of what we want to do. It's important for us to realize that this is the common denominator of all schools. And when we put a premium on core education, that is how we define our students. You are an architect, but you are socially responsible. We're not just producing professionals, but we're also producing ethical individuals who are conscious about their actions. You go to the supermarket, you are a thinking individual who is actively reflecting on the impact of the purchases for a simple action. That's how we are. And that's the reason why it's difficult, because like it or not, and I like to use the word yung paghulma, ang paghibog ng Benil dyan, hibog. Ano ba yun? Sige, balik ako doon sa aking paghubog. Nagpapatunay na mahalaga na talagang mag-aral ulit tayo ng Pilipino, ha? At nakikinig. Okay, sige. Mahalaga yun kasi talagang importante sa atin yun. And it's really, right now, what we're doing after this phase, the second phase, is that we will engage with other schools. Because for the longest time, we have always been treated as the minors. And I already we should never be treated as minors, because at the end of the day, we are the common denominator of all schools. And the other schools will become co-creators. The second phase would involve engaging with the chairpersons and the schools of the other schools, and to discuss with them what we intend to offer to them rather, and they will be co-creators. We will also talk to industry experts to know also what competencies or what capabilities do we need to harness, so that we're not just talking about professional courses, but also competencies that are beyond us, and then we realize it and then we integrate it in our course offerings. So before I forget, this would not be possible. Honestly, this would not be possible without the kindness and the dedication of all SMS members, but particularly I have to cite Dr. Malu. Is she here? Dr. Malu? Please stand up and be recognized. Oh. Thank you so much, Dr. Malu. And of course, our host, Dr. Joey, of course, Sir Dino, and of course, Red, Vanji, everybody here has contributed so much, and I really cannot. Javen, of course, Javen. And of course, I'd like to thank the LRC for passionately supporting the cause. Thank you, LRC. And the IT department as well, and of course, Miss Ampi, all our secretaries. Asan yung mga secretary? Can you please be recognized? Oh. Franco is a new addition to our team. Si Kat, of course, Wilbur. Yeah, okay. So, thank you so much.
We would formally give recognition to the people behind this pioneering event.
That's right. First off, a big thank you, of course, to the School of Multidisciplinary Studies, headed by the Dean George Binay, for spearheading this first ever General Education Congress.
Let's give him a warm round of applause. Nakakahawa ka din, George. Let's also give thanks to the SMS chairpersons, Dr. Baby Bly of Math, Miss Vanji Enriquez of NatSci, Miss Jenny Fabula of Teofilo, Miss Luz Paro of PE, Dr. Malu Santos of English, and Mr. Rene Valladolid of Socsci and Filipino.
We also acknowledge the invaluable assistance of the various staff and offices, ITD, LRC, GAS, CIC, CIRC, EdTech, and Hotel Binil.
Also, to our secretaries, SMS secretaries, Kath Bukud, Wilmer Cortez, Ampi Bar, and our new secretary, Franco Felix. Special thanks go to the support of SMS English area composed of Mr. Javen Babak, Ms. Jessel Duque, Ms. Gia Gonzalez, Mr. Adrian Ho, and Ms. Nadine Magsalin, and our pulsar Red Castilla of NatSci for courageously taking on the task of organizing today's program.
Yeah. And lastly, thank you to all of you for coming and participating in today's event. Thank you very much.
But before you go, may we request everyone to fill out the online evaluation form by visiting the link posted on the screen.
Okay, don't worry, it's not too long. There are only a few items to check and write. Your feedback will be very much appreciated. So please take a few minutes to fill out this evaluation form.
That's very important for us. This has been the General Education Congress 2017. We're all one in diversity.
We champion inclusion, we pioneer innovation.
And we're constantly building a better Benilde.
Once again, thank you for coming. And this has been your host, Dino Gonzalez.
We'll see you in the team building activity overnight.
Yay! Please email your evaluation to Miss Ampi Tibar. Have a great evening. I'm Joey Jawid. Good afternoon. We will email the link to all of you. Please fill out the evaluation form. Thank you. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.